Good evening, Gabby.
Good evening, TC, and welcome all to Terry Currans' weekly football podcast. Steady away, son, how are you?
Well, not too bad considering.
Yep, absolutely. I'm looking at the new edition of When Saturday Comes, and it's a picture of Forest. The 70s are back. Well, let's hope that they are. Forest are on a roll.
What a great run.
Yeah, went through on penalties against Exeter, but got to be now one of the favourites to lift the FA Cup. I don't know what game you are watching, or if you're in your bedroom as you usually
I'm coming
are.
to bedroom because obviously you can't talk on here and watch the game at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's just in the background, and I look at it. I didn't realise Liverpool kicked off at quarter to 8.
Sure. He has it on with things, speakers on. So
yeah, absolutely. And I didn't realise that Feyenoord come out to "You'll Never Walk Alone." So no wonder Arnie Slot feels at home at Anfield. I mean, it's a great chorus, Feyenoord, "You'll Never Walk Alone." They're entertaining AC Milan, and there's a great night of Champions League football, as there was last night of Champions League football. But firstly, we always start on the magic moments. So what have you sourced for us this week?
You'll be happy, Gabby, because it's Birmingham, the Japanese guy.
Yeah, Iwata.
Oh,
what a goal, wasn't it?
Unbelievable. Stop that if you can.
The thing is, you can't, can you?
No.
I mean, you do need two goalkeepers
as soon as
there.
They hit it, you know it was in.
Absolutely. I mean, I was down there with our Jack watching the game.
I know. I saw you posting things up.
Yeah, I was in the pub with my sister. She was absolutely hammered. And we posted that up. But it was a great day. Fair play to Eddie Howe. He put a decent team out to face Birmingham. And I thought it was a really good game. And a Watter strike, as soon as he hit that, you thought, back of the net. But
there were two great saves. One from Pope. Is it Pope?
Yeah.
I mean, there was a deflection, a great reaction save.
Yeah.
And the Birmingham keeper made a brilliant save.
Yeah, he did, but unfortunately they gave a goal, didn't they, for that goal?
Yeah, I know, it's unbelievable.
Well, again, we were there live. Don't know.
Without being funny to anyone, how can they see a line? Tell me.
Well, the linesman's 5 yards off it for a start, so he's looking at an angle at the goal rather than on the side to look at whether it's gone over the line.
I don't get.
So he can't see it. He can't see it.
From what is it? 40 yards, 45 yards.
You can't see that. You know what I mean?
It's impossible for him to see. Even the post. If he were on that line, he won't be able to see because the post.
No, he can't. So he's
to be off it. How can you look at it twice and you can see it. Well, it doesn't look as though it's gone over, but you don't know, do you?
No, but surely, if you're the linesman to see if a ball's gone over the line, you've got to be by the corner flag, and if you can see the ball has crossed the line, but he's 5 yards off it. He's nowhere near the byline. He cannot see if that ball is over the line or not. How he gives that goal, I have no idea. But
still having a great season is Birmingham, though.
I watched him again last night. I tell you what I've been really impressed with. The fella that's come from Rangers, Kieran, what's he, Dowler? Kieran
Dowler.
Yeah, I'd call him Dowler.
Yeah.
Go on, Dowler. I think he's got great ability. I love to watch left-footed players play anyhow. I'm a bit biased. But I think he's got great balance.
You ask all right-footers, they all say, left-footers, he's got a foot like a wand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or a foot like a tin opener. It's that good. They are. Left-footers do seem to strike the ball well and, use the ball a lot better than a lot of right-footers.
But I think he's so balanced, he's so composed. I mean, that goal he scored last night against Cambridge, I thought was delightful. I thought that the whole of the move was brilliant, from winning the ball deep in our half, getting onto the edge of their box, and Dell's just, as you always say, pace and place, and that's what he did. But Birmingham do look good, 7 points clear with a game in hand, into the semi-final next Tuesday against Bradford, for a place at Wembley in a cup that's been in many guises: auto windscreen, we won
It
it in
doesn't make a difference.
'95.
It's a Wembley
Absolutely, yeah,
appearance for
absolutely.
the teams at that level.
Yeah, it's what's it, the Virtue
I'll
now,
tell you what,
but it used to be the Leyland
there'd be
Daff as
about
well.
20 or 25,000 Birmingham fans go down.
There'd be about 50,000. We took 50,000 at
There you go.
91. I mean, it is a big, big day out, and hopefully that Blues will get there. And I think there are shades of Barry Fry's Blues in '95. But, you know, I've looked at the team throughout the year, and they haven't really impressed me. But I've watched them of late, and they have impressed me. And I think that it's the midfield of Birmingham now, with a Water or Pike, with Dowell in there as well, Keshi Anderson and the fella.
Sometimes you've got to take 2 steps back to take, a step forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Scott Rice plays as a wide player, Keshi Anderson and Stansfield. And I just think, I mean, shame that Mark Leonard got injured, but I do think that Birmingham's midfield now is looking really, really tasty. They've got players that can pass the ball, play the ball forward. I tell you what I liked as well. I usually, when I've been down there as a season ticket holder in the Tilton Road, I'm watching from, the heights of the back of the Tilton. I was down in the family enclosure and I'm looking at the footwork of the players and the way that, and I thought that Birmingham, the movement, the footwork, the way that they're passing, I thought they looked every inch at least a championship team against Newcastle and competed very well against one of the greatest club
Once they
sides
get
in
back
this
into the
country.
championship, then you're going to get better quality players because they're willing to pump money into the club, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. But I do think these players that they've got at the moment, I know that many of them are on loan, but if they could, bring them in on a, permanent basis, I think Blues. I think we've got enough there with the addition of maybe 2 or 3 to make inroads in that championship next season.
Like I've just said to you, that the owners have got the willpower. They must have the money.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they spent £13 million, in that division.
Have you seen the plans for the new ground? And again, I've been quite critical. I don't see how we're going to pack 60,000, but they look as though that they're going to go ahead with it. They want it to be a sporting area where it incorporates cricket, it incorporates more or less every sport in Birmingham, and they've got huge plans for, I think, NFL games as well as concerts, etc., and they're looking to build an underground tunnel to Bordsley, that part of Birmingham where the Wills Adventure Park is, and they're looking at spending in the region of £3 billion. So money is not an object to these guys, so bring it on.
See, I disagree with you on that. They can't do, regardless what you tell me. I know you're a Birmingham fan and everything, and you wanted to be successful, and rightly so. I would be the same. But to be pumping that money into a championship club, yes, they want to try and get it into the Premier League.
It's the ground though that they're pumping that money into.
Yeah, but where do they get this money from?
Well, I mean,
that's the question.
Yeah, God, big business people have got a lot of money. No, absolutely.
It's every football club.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, a prime example. They take the knee for the Black Lives Matter. We have 3 young girls murdered in Southport, brutally murdered.
Yeah.
And nothing from the media about taking the knee for that. So what I'm trying to say to you, I'm not trying to say, where's this money coming from to be putting £3 billion? Right. Why don't they first and foremost put £1 billion in and try and get them into Premier League, and then the other thing becomes easier?
I think with the PSR and that, they actually can't put that much money into the football team, can they? They can put a certain amount.
That's the thing of it.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, them PSR rules don't come into League One sides. So Birmingham have probably done better by getting relegated from the Championship and have been able to pump a load more money into the football team. Then they're going to build the ground like what?
And have a stronger team going back into the Championship.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think relegation was a plus for the Blues.
I've seen them once this year, me, I watched them at against Barnsley. They losing 1-0.
Yeah.
Finished up winning 2-1. It's great to see him back on the winning ways, because there's nothing the worse than getting beaten week in and week out as a being bottom of the league. Whether you say, well, if you support that team, Sheffield Wednesday, whatever, you get sick of it, don't you?
And I got to say, Villa looked absolutely fantastic the other night as
By
well.
the way, what a signing that is!
Well, Rashford and
it looked
Asensio.
As though he wanted to play when he come on the other day.
I've never seen him run so fast. Have you?
Well,
the last time I seen him run that fast was Wales.
I have seen him do things. I saw him do something at Ellen Road.
Yeah.
Playing for England, and I went, wow.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got it in him. There is 100%. Something amiss. And we don't know, because I have seen players, and you shouldn't do, right? But it's not as easy as that, because yes, the game paid fortunes.
Yeah.
But you want to play on a Saturday, right? And if you're not happy, I hated playing out wide. I hated it.
Yeah.
But you played there, and they got more out of me by letting me play, not through the middle, but just letting me be an inside forward and let me drift along the front line. So I do get it, but at the end of the day, you've got to give 100%. Whether you like the manager, that's my motto.
Absolutely, but Asensio as well. I mean, he's touch. I mean, when he come on and Rashford come on, I thought, oh my days. I mean,
I tell you what, they've got strength in depth now.
I think Villa have got a really, really good squad, and I've always been of the opinion, even when I was a kid and a season ticket holder of Birmingham, I've always been of the opinion that Birmingham needs a strong Aston Villa, because it brings Birmingham up. And I think in the late 80s, when we were both relegated to the second tier of English football, I think that was a really, really dark day for Birmingham as a city. So I think it's great that Villa are there. Birmingham will be there.
City in country, isn't it?
Well, it is. I mean, I've got a ticket as well to the game, the Villa game, but I went the Blues and I was coughing me guts up coming back. When you've had a chest infection, the cold gets into you. And I said to Tom, I said, I'm going to watch it on the telly, because I'll be coughing up all Monday. So I didn't go. I watched it on the telly, but it was nice that there was over 70,000 football fans in Birmingham for that weekend. And if you factor in Albion, which their ground, the Hawthorns, is in Birmingham, you're looking at over 100,000 football fans. And I think it's great that football fans are going to watch our professional
well
teams.
Supported,
Absolutely.
I mean, Villa are the big club in Birmingham, but all three of them, Wolves, they're all great team support. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and great to see the Midlands football really starting to.
He's back on the march again.
Yeah, and we need these teams in the Premier League. They've been out of the Premier League for so long.
I like to see all big clubs in league, in the Premier League and playing each other, because I think you get more out of that.
100%. You've got to pit your wits against the big boys. Plymouth pitted their wits against the big boys, or probably not so much the big boys in terms of the team, but in terms of the club. They what a great result for Plymouth. I love their mascot. Did you see the mascot? Having a fight with a photographer.
They're winning 2-0 tonight, So
who are they playing tonight?
Millwall.
Are they really? Blimey. That'd be a great result.
But they conceded an own goal and they given a penalty. So,
but I mean, how big a pair of testicles has that boy got, walking up live game, fourth round the FA Cup against Liverpool, penalty kick, and he's just stuck it in the onion bag as cool as you like, hasn't he, Hardy? What a great penalty.
Yeah, but it was a great penalty.
That took a lot of courage, didn't it? That was bottle, wasn't it, really? And confidence.
Yeah. Oh,
shrink.
It's not a strong Liverpool team, but there's everybody watching it.
Yeah.
There's thousands or millions of people watching it on TV across the globe.
Exactly. So well done to Plymouth. I thought that they played really well. And how about that fella, Nicola Katic, who lost a tooth against Liverpool? Did you see his gaffer? He was pissing himself laughing, wasn't he? his mouth's bleeding, his tooth's come out, and the gaffer's laughing, going, well, that's what you get when you're playing against the big boys here in the FA Cup. But again,
I think what he's turning them round a bit, isn't he?
He has. He's brought in a couple of really hard centre halves, hasn't he? He's made them more difficult to beat. star player, if you like, has left and gone to pastures new. But Plymouth do look as though, you know, you look at them and you think, if you could play half as good every week at the level that you'd be playing at, you wouldn't be in that bottom three, and there'd be no fears of you going down. But again, it's trying to play like that every week. But
he
what
hasn't
a
made a
great
difference.
tie! Yeah,
He hasn't made a
absolutely, yeah.
difference, hasn't he?
100%. They just look like a really, really good football team. Great support. They're going up to the Etihad now, so a tremendous draw for Plymouth. They're going to be taking 8,000 to the Etihad. And again, them players have got something to look forward to, and it's going to make their league performances better because they're looking at a positive rather than when
There's
Rooney had a
always a
negative.
big difference when you're happy to go into training
Yep.
and you start to get results.
Yeah.
And it's showing.
Yeah, it is, yeah. So well done to Plymouth. Well done to Jack Grealish. I know he went off injured last night, but what a pass for De Bruyne's goal, that winning goal against
pass.
Orient. I mean,
what a unreal season City's had, haven't they? Just so unpredictable.
Can't believe it, can you?
I mean, Grealish is outside of his foot.
Yeah.
Flipped it just perfect. The kid chested it back down in Ireland for the. You know, I thought City could want to win comfortably, but you got to give Real Madrid credit.
Madrid are a decent team, but when you look at the 3 goals that they conceded, they're all defendable goals, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, they are gift wrapping.
I was going to say that Guardiola would be pulling his hair out, but he ain't got any.
No, but if he did, he would be, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, they are the errors that they are making are just so basic
Mind you, the first goal is a poxy goal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You know, it's hit his shin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, miss it and it's gone in.
Yeah.
But the other 2 goals, you know, they were stoppable.
Absolutely, yeah.
More defensive.
But again, the marking with Mbappe, yeah, awful. I mean, you look at his body shape, you think he can't get it in from there. Look at the way he's diving at that ball and it's gone in. You're thinking, oh my God. I mean, how bad is the defending of Manchester City?
When they played Orient, you know, he made changes straight away, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see the game. I was working, but I was listening to the game. And you're thinking, it's just Man City. How can you go in at half time? You 1-0 down against Orient. I mean, again, no disrespect to Orient. Orient played great.
Yeah.
But Manchester City's defending this year has been nothing short of abysmal. I mean, going forward, they've still been decent. That midfield has lacked a little bit of legs. I'll grant them that. But the defensive errors that they're making, it's absolutely frightening. It's just so bad. It's schoolboy. We've mentioned Iwata's goal. I've got that down as well. Donnelly's goal for Orient while we're in the Orient ballpark.
Unbelievable goal, wasn't it?
I mean, it was, but you can't give it him. It has to go down as an own goal, doesn't it?
Own goal.
It has to, don't it?
The great thing about it is seeing the keeper.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, for a Championship 1 player, again, it's another mistake in one sense, but it's still, you know, the direction and the accuracy of it. Barring the little deflection, I was going to give that as the goal.
Yeah.
And then obviously I saw the Birmingham goal, and that's a beautiful strike, so that's why I went that way.
But again, he's on loan from Spurs, isn't he? Apparently, Donnelly, and he's seen a goalkeeper off the line, and he's pinged the ball, and it's a fantastic vision, phenomenal vision. But he hasn't hit the target because he's hit the bar.
Yeah.
And if the goalkeeper isn't standing there, the ball just hits the bar and goes out. It's great crossbar challenge effort, but it ain't a goal. And this is the thing.
Didn't you hear what he said afterwards?
Go on.
He said to the Manchester City player, he said, crossbar, and he hit the crossbar.
Well, yeah. Oh, excuse me. The idea, son, is goal.
Don't fall for that, Gabby.
Exactly. Goal and hit the goal, not the crossbar. You don't get anything for hitting the crossbar, only on Soccer AM. Yorkies, not for women. Or what was it? The Yorkie bar, not for girls.
Yeah. Oh, don't say that. We'll be getting banned.
Well, I don't think we can now with Sam Kerr going into a police station and saying you're stupid and white and getting away with it.
How she got away with that?
I have no idea. It's only because of the wokery, the ridiculous
Gabby, there's a
situation.
2-tier police.
100%.
And I told everyone what would happen in there.
100%.
These illegal immigrants were brought in to buy votes and to destroy the country.
It's unbelievable. I mean, do you
Trump
remember?
woke everybody up in America.
Absolutely. But do you remember Benton Kerr?
Barring the lying media, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the media just do what the media are told. They're nothing but a bunch of puppets. But Benton Kerr.
Well, they get paid by that USAID, don't they?
They get paid by whoever in the paymasters.
That's why they've got to say what they've got to say.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what they do. So Benton Kerr, when he went away at Uruguay and he was talking to the Uruguayan press and he said something derogatory about Son, he got banned for, 7 games because they said it was racial, the FA. Yeah. Now, they have got to give her a ban for at least 7 games. But I bet you the FA don't, because the FA are spineless.
Well, she's not been charged, Gabby, has she?
No, but ultimately,
yeah, I know.
Benton Kerr wasn't charged, but it was still...
She's not been charged by the police, which is... I mean, that's come up first and foremost. She should have been charged.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%.
Because it's a racist comment.
It is, yeah. So what they're saying now, and I'll tell you who's been quiet, all these kick racism out of football people, I've not heard any of them on Talk Sport.
It's all going to be exposed.
It
hasn't even really started here.
No, absolutely.
People always say to me, why do you talk about politics in America? Because that's where everything happens.
Yeah, and then it happens here 20 years after.
They'll finish up. They'll force him out. Make no mistake on it.
Oh, 100%. But again, going back, if it's okay to call a police officer stupid and white, then I think it opens a can of worms, and because of the politically correct wokery situation in this country, I think they're going to get what they deserve. I
haven't listened to TalkSport for nearly a year now, all because of Jim White.
Yeah.
And everything you heard from Jim White was racism.
Yeah. Mm.
And he's not whiter than white.
No.
He got banned up road for drink driving.
Mm.
He spoke about once when he went on Scottish TV, and he was drunk, and there's a presenter out there, and then he's going around and calling everybody racist.
Mm.
Right? He's been told to say it, but I'd have said no, I'm not saying it.
Yeah, absolutely. But it would be interesting to see what happens with Sam Kerr, with the Football Association. But I'm guessing they won't do nothing.
You know she will not get suspended.
They've got 72 women with penises playing in women's football, and the FA have done nothing about it. They will do nothing about Sam Kerr because it is a 2-tier state, and this is what puts me off women's football, and I cannot support it any longer. I think it's an absolute disgrace.
I used to like it. I used to watch it a lot, but I can't support it anymore.
But if you want equality, you have to have equal rights, not the bits of equality that you want and forget the rest of it, because that is not equality. Kvaratskhelia first goal for PSG. I don't know if you saw that too. I have put it up on the Terry Curran football.
No, I have not seen
group.
that, to be honest.
But the ball's come through to him. His touch, he's just taken it away. The defender has just slid across him and he's just put it in the bag. I think that kid is absolute dynamite. I think PSG are a good shout for the Champions League this season. I think they've got more of a balance to the side. We watched them a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? When they played against Manchester City.
I didn't see the goal, but I saw plenty of game really other night.
Yeah,
I didn't see the goal.
No, it wasn't in the Champions League. It was against Monaco in Ligue 1 on his debut, but he come on last night in the Champions League.
Is that the young lad?
It's Kvaratskhelia, my favourite player.
The Italian, yeah.
He's the Georgian king. He's a king of Georgia. Yeah. He used to play for Napoli, if you remember, the left winger. It reminds me very much of Grealish. And there was speculation that he was going to go to Newcastle. Wasn't there a couple of transfer windows ago, but he has ended up at PSG. So good luck to all in Paris, and I will be watching Cavaskaglia from my television set in Birmingham. Rest in peace to John Tudor. Very sad news that come through this week.
One of the greats in out from our era.
Yeah, I mean, he used to hang in the air like a kestrel, didn't he?
Yeah.
John Tudor, Tudor and McDonald up front for Newcastle.
Great inside forward.
Very, very, very sad. And played for Sheffield United before, didn't he? The great John Tudor. Did you ever cross paths with John during your
Played against
career?
him a couple of times,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that.
Played against him when I played the FA Cup with Forest.
Mm.
I played against him when with Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
I don't think I played against Forest.
Mm.
Doncaster, I should say.
Yeah.
I played against him against Doncaster FA Cup. Played against Sheffield Wednesday. So yeah, it's sad, but
yeah,
sad. We're all getting older, Gabby.
Absolutely, very, very sad. We also said goodbye to Sergio's testicles this week.
Who?
Sergio, the Manchester City forward. He said there's no way that Real Madrid are going to beat Aguero.
I wonder what you're on about.
Yeah, no, there's no way Real Madrid are going to beat Man City. I'm going to cut my testicles off.
Every time
hello, Sergio!
Says something like that, it always happens, doesn't it?
It's incredible.
Remember Rodney Marsh going to have his haircut with Bradford?
I remember Rodney Marsh having his haircut, though, didn't he? Or having it coloured, Bradford
colours. His hair shaved off in Bradford.
Yeah.
I don't know, stayed up or whatever.
Yeah, and I remember Rodney Marsh saying about the Albion, it was like putting lipstick on a pig. But, yeah, I mean, Sergio Aguero takes it to a different level. So I'm not sure. I doubt it if we're going to say goodbye, really, to his testicles. But I think next time he'll probably think before he opens his mouth when Manchester City are going to be in action. I don't think they're going to be in action much more in the Champions League, TC, because I think that's a massive ask, isn't it, going to the Bernabeu and turning a 3-2
You never know, but you just never know, do you?
You don't know.
They are capable, of going out there and winning 2-0.
100%, yeah.
But I'm like you, you've got to fancy Real Madrid now.
I mean, there's two teams that really struggle.
I thought he looked good. Vinicius Junior other day.
I think he's a great player. I was watching the Blues game, so I didn't see that game. I watched bits of it at half time and at the end, and I saw the 2 goals for Real Madrid. But you're looking at both teams really can't defend, but both teams really can attack. So I do think it sets it up next week to be a great game. And again, although you would imagine that Real Madrid will run out winners and knock City out, they still have a fighter's chance because they've got some great firepower of Man City. And if they do find the recipe to be able to defend properly, who knows, TC? They may just do it.
Get through, yeah.
Kids football, fighting in kids football in Kent. How ridiculous is that?
I didn't see that, Gabby.
Did you not see it?
No, I didn't see it on our...
yeah.
Well,
yeah, there was a kids under 10 game in Kent, and there was a few punches swung by the players, and then quite a lot of punches swung by the parents that invaded the pitch. And the kids
stupid though, Gabby.
Oh, it's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, fighting at a game of football. I mean, you'd never find that with a Terry Curran side playing in Halifax, would you?
Well,
do you remember that game?
Obviously,
your village team.
The fans came onto the pitch more than anything else, and then there were people just big brawl. But that was under 18s.
Yes, absolutely.
We're talking about under 10s.
Yeah.
That'd be parents winding them up and all that.
It's crazy, and it's
you go. I don't go now, but I used to go to some games, and you're hearing parents, you think,
I know.
Kids are frightened they have to play.
I must admit, when I've seen like my little one play, the parents from both sides have been really good. And when I see a kid on the opposition, whatever kid it is, I mean, I've watched a couple of kids do something sensational on the ball, and I've gone, well done, young man, superb. You keep that up, son. I mean, he's playing against us. I don't care.
Yeah, but they love to hear
absolutely.
like that, kids.
And then when they finish the game and I've said, you're a player, you are. Well done, Nipper. I'll be watching you. I mean, the one kid said, where do you think I should play next year? I said, for my son's team. That's where I think you should play. But I do love watching the kids play football, and they should be encouraged, and they shouldn't be fighting on the touchline and even on the pitch when they run on there. Ridiculous. Book corner, TC. My latest book that I've bought, I have it here. Sir Bill, the complete Bill Nicholson story by Steve Perryman and Norman Giller. I think he's one of these managers that when we look at the all-time great managers, we tend to forget what Bill Nicholson done at Tottenham
First
Hotspur.
manager to do the double.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's often forgotten, isn't it? But it isn't forgotten in this wonderful book. A great collaboration by the great Steve Perryman. Played more games for Tottenham Hotspur than any other player. And that record will never, ever be beaten, will it? Same as Jimmy Greaves, 357 league goals. It will never, ever be beaten. There's some records that will never, ever be beaten. So well done, Steve Perryman and Norman. And I think Giller's wrote over about 120 football books. Jimmy Greaves' mate. Greaves used to call him Giller the Filler, didn't he? It promises to be a fantastic read. And a great picture on the front with the great Jimmy Greaves and Bill
But he was a
Nicholson.
great centre forward, him, Alan Gilzine.
Sorry? Gilzine?
You're about Alan Gilzine.
No, Norman Giller.
Oh, Norman
Giller. No, Giller the Filler.
You were about Jimmy Greaves and saying about Alan Gilzine when you said Giller.
But I mean, Gilly, what a player he was, wasn't he, Gills? Again, another one brilliant in the air, great on the deck and brilliant in the air as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, Alan Gilsey, what a player. Did he not come from Dundee? I think there's a Dundee connection, isn't there, with Alan Gilsey? Again, great player. Tottenham have had some great players over the ages. And none any better than Steve Perryman. So well done, Steve and Norman Giller, for producing this wonderful book, Sir Bill, the complete Bill Nicholson story. Fistful of Doldrums, view from the northeast hotbed, 1977 to 79, by David Snowden. You're in it.
I'm in it.
You're in it a few times. On Twitter, at Terry Curran _11, which we've got now, the Terry Curran Football Podcast page, the official page. I do interact with one or two people, and David is one of those that I have interacted with. And he said you between that era, well, not era, but those couple of years, 77 to 79, you had 4 clubs. You had the most clubs of any football player in the First Division.
Yeah, like I said, I've told you before.
Yeah, I know.
People go on about me with football clubs. The last 4 or 5 clubs, which were Sunderland, Grimsby, Hull, Chesterfield, I was doing them favours.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I came back from Greece. My knee had gone. My knee really gone and when I went to Sunderland, my dad said it was not McMenemy, it was Lou Chatterley, and I said to him, Dad, just tell him, I'm not in, because there were no mobiles back then.
Yeah, absolutely.
House phone, and my dad said, you're not playing for them, you're playing for Sunderland. And I finished going up, but there were a lot of problems going on. And then my daddy got cancer. He died, and I refused to go to Birmingham when they played Birmingham, and I think they gave a lot of abuse and what have you. And then Grimsby, I played about 7 games. So I was doing it all. Brian Orton, manager, Bobby Roberts at Grimsby, Brian Orton at Hull, and Derek Randall at Chesterfield. We short of players. If you just come for a month, that type of thing. Yeah. So it looks as though I was, but I didn't, because I should have finished really after Huddersfield, because that last season at Huddersfield, I was having problems with my knee.
How many games did you play for Huddersfield approximately?
Maybe 20 odd, 30, maybe. I mean, when I signed for them, Mick Buxton said to me, if you can keep us up, you've done your job. And we kept up, and I should have packed it in after that.
But this is Fistful of Doldrums, view from the northeast hotbed, from 1977 and 79 by David Snowden. So it's a great few years of football to the late 70s, which was a great era, a great few years. I think the 70s, the decade of the 70s, I think is the most, in my opinion, the most romantic decade of football. And I suppose it's because I was a kid watching all those games as a kid at St Andrews with my dad, watching Match of the Day.
There's so many great players about
Absolutely,
then, Well, there were early 60s, late 60s,
yeah.
early 70s, weren't they? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was, yeah. I mean, every team had great players. You know, you knew the managers from all those, because, for that decade, you probably have the same manager or maybe one or
I mean,
two
Arsenal would
different
have 5 or
managers.
6. Leicester had 3 or 4.
Yeah.
You said Leicester, Keith Weller, Frank Worthington, I know.
Oh,
David Nish,
yeah,
Schultz,
yeah.
they had 3, 4, 5 or 6 players. Arsenal,
You could go
Georgie
through,
Armstrong, Alan
yeah,
Ball, Charlie George.
you could go through every team of the
You could
70s.
name a lot of them, couldn't
You
you?
could do, yeah. We could
I mean,
say,
that Leeds team, unbelievable.
yeah, we could name it 1 to 11, the Leeds team.
Yeah.
You'd say the Liverpool, Tottenham, Villa, Birmingham, and they were household names that were playing.
Yeah.
Wolverhampton Wanderers. The 70s, again, I keep repeating myself, but I just think it was the best decade of football and football players. And there's a great feature on Crystal Palace in the latest edition of When Saturday Comes. Glam all over. A spark of excitement first felt in the heady days of the 1970s with Selhurst Park.
The more I look at it, how they've changed the world with the new.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can see what would happen in football, how they were changing it.
Yeah.
And they've finished up now. What have we got? 50% English players playing in Premier League.
Maybe less than that, Terry.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe less than that now.
It's all been forced and pushed on for a purpose.
But again, great kits, great players, great everything in the 70s. Fantastic. So, yeah, glam all over. Lovely piece about Crystal Palace and the great Malcolm Allison. And he changed everything at Palace as well, didn't he? He changed the kit, he changed the nickname. He changed so much. I mean, a pioneer, probably a better coach than a manager, if we're all honest. But, Big Mal, I mean, no bigger ego than Big Mal.
Malcolm gets a lot of things, but Malcolm was a character more.
Absolutely.
They say he was a great coach, and probably, I mean, I didn't know. But Palace took off when Venables took over.
Yeah. They did, yeah.
Tony Buck built the Manchester, not Tony Buck, what's it called?
Who's that?
He got
what team?
John Mercer.
Yeah, Mercer at Man City.
He built the team, and then Malcolm took over. Obviously, they got close to winning the old First Division. But it sold people like Peter Barnes and Gary Owen came through the system. They were good players. They were great players.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is a school of thought that says that all the great work that Mercer and
he
Allison.
Replaced them. We keep calling McKenzie and Reeves, and you think,
yeah.
All right, not bad players, but they were great players.
I've got Sam watching the game downstairs, Feyenoord and AC Milan. So was it 1-0 too, Bab?
Yeah.
Feyenoord, well done.
Feyenoord,
I told you I want to know who the player of the first half was. She's been cleaning the kitchen, trying to educate her in the game of football, TC, and she's doing a very good job. Trailblazers, the groundbreaking history of Nottingham Forest by Matthew Oldroyd. Again, I'm guessing another book that you're going to be featured in as well. So I think you're featured in both of these books here. Trailblazers. I mean, a great history of a great football club, and you were one of those that wore the Garibaldi red of Nottingham Forest with merit.
Yeah, it was a shame how it ended, with the injury, but
yes,
fantastic football club, and obviously playing for the great man himself, just an unbelievable experience.
Ended with a bad knee and an electric bill, didn't it?
Yeah.
And strangely enough, Legends of the 70s Lounge, we've put John Nielsen Robertson Born on the 20th of January 1953, View Park, Lanarkshire. Went to Forest in 1970. 13 years he stayed, man and boy. 61 goals in 386 league games for Nottingham Forest. Moved to Derby 83 to 85. Scored 3 in 72. I think that was when Pete Taylor was the manager.
Yeah.
Pete went there, didn't he? And I think that's why they fell out, didn't they, him and Cloughie? Because he didn't tell him that he was taking John.
Well, I think Cloughie wanted to go, and Pete talked him out of it, and then Pete went and took John Robertson. I think that's when they really fell out.
Yeah, I think Cloughie was on holiday, wasn't he? Or he was doing something and he took him. And Cloughie had always said
or
that...
I think he was on a walk somewhere.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, I think it was on a walk. And I've seen the video of it, and Cloughie suggests that, you know, he could have just given me a phone call, and I think that's how they fell out, which is a great shame. I don't think they ever really made up, did they? And
no, they didn't.
Sadly, both passed away. Clough and Taylor, the greatest partnership for me ever in football. And then he moved back to Forest in 85, 86. John played 11 games, and between the years of 1979 and 83, scored 8 goals in 28 games for Scotland. I mean, John Robertson, 28 games for Scotland. That should have been 78. I mean, it's ridiculous. Arguably the best left winger I've seen.
Yeah. Well, you don't forget they got a great squad of players back then.
To be fair, you're right, they did, yeah.
And Robbo didn't take off, really, until Forest.
Yeah.
Because, like I told you before,
yeah,
unbelievable player.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, an unbelievable player. But Alan Browne, I told you, tried to put him in part exchange for Ronnie Glavin. Can you imagine?
No,
what about to Robbo going back to back to Scotland, Partick Thistle? You probably wouldn't have heard of him. It just shows you with the right move and the right bit of luck how things turn out.
Again, when you look at the podcast that we've done, the great Duncan McKenzie, and guys, you can access all our podcasts on the usual outlets that you access your podcast.
Some great players back then, but you know, some of those great players got horrible by the managers.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, remember the story Silk tells about Zinedine Zidane, and he'd offered him to Kevin Keegan.
Yeah.
And Kevin didn't see him, but his people went and saw him and didn't think that he could play
football.
Wolverhampton, that were bottom of the championship at the time. And like, Kev, you're having a lark, you're making a massive mistake.
Didn't think you were good enough.
No, he didn't, no. Went to Juventus with Bettiga, and then, went for a world record transfer fee of about 45 million a couple of years later. I mean, one of the great players of all time, Zinedine Zidane. But again,
without question of a doubt, that.
Again, it all comes down to opinions of people in the game of football, and it does, make you wonder at times. But again, it's how many times you watch them. I mean, Busby always used to watch a player many, many, many times, and other people watching that player, and when they all come back and said the same thing, Busby would go and buy him. But, probably not the case in the modern game. But, the great John Robertson, legend of the 70s, phenomenal.
Go down in Forest was one of Forest's greatest players. Well, I mean, Ian Moore and Duncan were great players for Forest, but he went on to win 2 European Cups and a league title.
Yeah, and scored in the one, didn't
he? Yeah.
A phenomenal player.
I think that was the Hamburg one, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was. But, well...
Played Hamburg in one and Malmo in the other.
Yeah, it's definitely wasn't the Malmo. Francis scored,
in the European Cup.
Yeah, Trevor Francis scored the winner. Robertson made it, didn't he? Robbo went down the left wing and put a phenomenal crossover, and Trevor got it on the far post, and just stuck it in there, which is unusual, because when I watched Trevor playing for Birmingham, I don't remember I think he scored an headed goal against the Villa, but apart from that, I don't think I've ever seen Francis scored a goal with his head, but he did that day for Nottingham Forest, and well done. How about them Turkish team? Adana Demirspor versus Galatasaray. They walked off the pitch last week, didn't they?
I don't know. What was that about?
Well, apparently Galatasaray And again, I heard this on TalkSport from the fella that's the vice chairman of Fenerbahce, who's the chairman of Hull City. And there is a lot of rivalry, to say the least, in Turkey. And there is a school of thought
But
in Turkey
those
that
type of teams will do
Galatasaray are
any
running
mortal
it.
thing, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Yeah. There's a school of thought that Galatasaray get all of the decisions. Whether they do, I don't know. But that's, if they believe that, and
Are
it
you
was
telling me that referees don't cheat?
I think they cheat so much over in Turkey. I mean, I think that, in all countries, referees might cheat a little bit. And then in certain countries, I think they cheat a lot. And I think Turkey's one of them countries that they do cheat a lot. And you'll probably find that some of the Turkish referees are on the payroll of some of the big Turkish football clubs, allegedly.
I
Same
would
as like
imagine
Barcelona. They've got a referee on tap,
people
haven't they?
people will turn around and say, Daddy, you just
Nothing is fact.
decisions give for certain clubs.
Absolutely, yeah.
And especially on the continent like that at times, seem to always get the decision go their way.
I mean, Leeds got cheated out of 2 European Cup finals, Cup Winners' Cup, and the European Cup of 73 and
Bayern
75.
just gone 1-0 up.
Who have?
Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Celtic have hung on a bit, haven't they?
Yeah.
I would think before the ball's kicked, maybe 2, maybe 3-0 to Bayern Munich. I can't see Celtic living with Bayern Munich. But again, you never know. Parkhead on European nights is great, but you need a little bit more than the crowd, don't you? When you're playing against crack sides like Bayern Munich and Barcelona and Real Madrid, etc.
They've always pulled off some great European nights as Celtic.
Yeah, they have. They have. But again, when you're playing the top sides with what Celtic have got at the moment, I think it is a big ask. But again, you never know. But I think they've done well to keep it down to 1. In my opinion, I think they'll get spanked when they go over to Munich next week. But again, you never know, do you? 3 up, 3 down from League 2 to the National League T. What's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on changing the game.
You've gone for a wee again?
Yes, I have. By the way, what I should tell you is I'm on tablets, you see. What makes me have to go to the toilet a lot.
Got you. 48 minutes you've lasted well, TC, this week.
So that's the reason why I do go to a lot, my water tablet to get it off my lungs or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you've suffered with that for some time, haven't you?
Yeah, it's just silly, I think.
No, I do as
well.
It's
just silly.
I mean, years ago, they had to apply for re-election, didn't they?
2 up and 2 down, for me, that's what it should be. Because you know as well as I do, 3 teams going up into the Premier League. Struggle.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
It's silly struggle. 2 up, champions and runners up. No playoffs and all that type of crap.
But it's a money spinning game, isn't it? And that's why they do it.
Yes, it's a money spinning game, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I tell you, who's making all the money out of it? That's what you got to look at.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
again, regardless of what people say, it may be the biggest game, right, for the championship.
Oh,
without a doubt. It does not do them any good because by going into the Premier League, they're giving players and paying extortionate wages.
Yeah, absolutely.
What they can't afford.
I did hear today, Rugby League, they have their Super League, their Rugby Super League.
Yeah.
There's no relegation, is there, from that Super League?
No, that's been like that for a few years now, I think.
The American leagues, there's no relegation. We've done this on the podcast before. I can see the Premier League in the next generation being a closed shop and being no relegation, or if there is, just one. What?
Oh no,
a playoff game.
Premier League.
Well, again, there might not be with the Super League.
There won't be a Premier League, Gabby.
With the Super League. Football is in a transitional period, and it's like, watch this space to what football's going to be like in 20 years. I think it's going to be almost unrecognisable. And
that Super Bowl, it's a 5-hour game.
It's ridiculous.
Right?
Do you watch it?
It's the biggest game in the world. No, I don't watch it. I don't watch rugby. My 2 lads love it.
So they say. So they say it's the biggest game in the world.
Yeah, but it's filmed all over the world, and the razzmatazz with it. I mean, I used to say, I said to lads, that's how the FA Cup used to be,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They will kill. You see, America is not like England. It's a massive. Well,
Mm.
there's got to be 50 countries in it. What is there? 51
I think
states.
there's 51 states in there, yeah.
You know.
52 if you include us.
Yeah. Well, 53 if Canada go into it, and also
Well,
it
Mexico
makes
ain't
me
going
laugh
to
too
be
when
allowed
he said
in there.
we'll make them the 51st state.
It did make me
He doesn't
laugh
half
about.
wind them up, doesn't he?
Oh, he does. I mean, it's almost satire at its best, isn't it?
What
It's
makes me
almost
laugh
a
with all that
parody
though,
of himself.
Gary, everybody knows, even
Yeah,
the
you're right.
Democrats and the radical left,
Yeah, of course they do.
they know where all the corruption is.
Yeah.
They still want to,
Yeah,
not believe it. And it absolutely baffles me.
yeah, but when you're on that gravy train and you're part of the corruption, you actually want to play the game that suits you. And Trump is a maverick. I mean, it did make me laugh when he was on about Gaza. Well, I think we'll buy that and turn it into like Riviera of the Middle East. Problems, there won't be no problems when we sort it all out.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
when you think about it, if they got to the bottom of it,
mm,
one wants to blame Israel, other half wants to blame.
mm,
Hang on a bit, stop,
mm.
pull them both apart, and find out what is causing the problem.
Yeah. I mean, he's the man. He's got the front that can do it. To be fair to him, and good luck to him.
But he knows what's going on.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I mean, he's got his finger on the pulse.
Until they get rid of the media,
Mm.
I mean, that CNN is a joke. The BBC is a joke. ITV is a joke.
But they're the biggest
MSNBC
propagators
is
of
a joke.
bullshit.
It's
Yeah,
all a
absolutely.
joke.
It is. Yeah, they're the biggest
It's
propagators
like
of
watching
bullshit.
Looney Tunes.
Yeah, it is. And when you read the papers, it's like reading a comic. But going back to 3 up, 3 down, I think the National League, have done very well over the last few years. Again, going back a number of years, you had to apply for re-election, and you'd have all the football chairmen like that football club that was applying for re-election, and they'd
Doncaster
re-elect it.
always applied for
Absolutely,
re-election.
100% till you
And
signed for them.
when me and Big Brent signed, that was the
Yeah,
first time
yeah,
they hadn't applied in years.
yeah. And there's a lot of big clubs now, going down to that National League and then going down again. So
Yeah.
I can't
Well,
see.
York's got one done.
Yeah, absolutely.
York did it.
Yeah, there's loads of them too. I mean, if
Yeah.
you look at that, like National League and then the other leagues that spin off it, there's an awful lot of former, Football League clubs that are in there now. So I can't, if it goes to a vote, I can't see the Football League clubs voting for that because, what are you voting for? You're voting for the chances of your club being relegated and then maybe not coming back to the Football League. So
Yeah.
again, I think it's a watch this space. Newcastle Liverpool League Cup final, two great clubs. I think the last time that they both played in a final would
It's
that
1974
I was going
FA
to say
Cup.
it would be 19. I don't think they've played in a final since, have they?
No. McDonald, he got criticised for it
He
because
didn't
it was
say
supposed to
that.
be the McDonald final. Keegan got through, didn't he? 3-1.
Keegan and Browne. I think Browne all scored the other goal, didn't they?
Yeah.
Did he, or
Yeah,
was
little
it
Brian
Steve?
Hall, great shout that way, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was, wasn't it? But two great teams and the great Bill Shankly and Malcolm McDonald. I mean, Malcolm 3 years earlier in August '71 made his home league debut against Liverpool, got knocked out by Ray Clements and scored a hat trick that day against Liverpool. So Super Macca got form against the Scousers, but Liverpool just ran out 3-0 winners that day, and maybe they'll run out 3-0 winners this time around. Going to be a great final. I think two great teams, but Liverpool, when their first team are playing, they look unbeatable. But I'm watching them now, 62 minutes at Goodison Park, and
Still one
it
apiece.
could go either way, T.
Yeah.
I
He's
mean,
turned them round, that Moyes.
Curtis Jones, I mean, he got a yellow card there, and I think it was right. His studs were showing, but it was just a yellow. But yeah, Moisey, I mean, excuse me, what a great job he's done coming back, any Moisey. I mean, they
They've
look
done terrific.
a different beast, don't they, Everton?
So that again, Gabby.
They look a different beast,
Oh,
don't they, Everton? You know, when you
it
look
just
to
shows you, doesn't
Sean,
it?
yeah,
You
it
know, if
does,
players
yeah,
not play for a manager, same
absolutely,
player
yeah, yeah.
with a couple of different players in and out of team
But it's pretty much the
for
same
years.
side, isn't it? I mean, he ain't
Yeah,
brought in loads of players. It's pretty much the same team. But again, it's the philosophy and the way that he's got them set up. And, you know, excuse me, I guess when they originally had the game scheduled, you would have thought that Liverpool would have smashed them at that time before Moyes. But now Moyes is there. I mean, you look at the Gladys Street end, it's absolutely packed to rafters, as is the rest of Goodison Park. A buoyant Goodison. Everton are playing on the front foot. And, you know, this game could go either way. But I suppose as long as you've got Salah on the pitch, you've always got it, again, a
get a
fighter's
chance. Yeah.
chance, haven't you?
What about Emirates comparing himself then to Alex Ferguson?
Oh, I can't believe it. Satire. Again, satire at its best. I posted it on the group. I mean, she's full of herself, ain't she? I
No,
mean, I don't like her at all. You know, there's not many people that get up my nose, but she gets up my nose.
I don't dislike people, but at the end of the day, I mean, like I said to you, I used to watch the women's football. I
Yeah.
did.
Same here.
And lads used to think to me, "Are you joking?" I said,
Yeah.
"No, technically good, but not anymore."
I mean, I was a stadium announcer at Birmingham City Ladies. There's a phone call as soon as I used to turn up. Within 10 minutes, there was a phone call from the residents at Stratford. Can you turn that music down? They were sick of listening to Paul Weller and the Jam. But I turn it up. Gabby, can you turn it down? No, I'm going to turn it up an octave or two.
Was
Let's
that
have
your
it.
last asking if you wanted a cup of tea?
Yeah, she wants a cup of tea and she's doing the vacuuming. She's just cleaned the kitchen. TC, we are almost to the end of the podcast. 5:10 it is now to me in the football
You're running
forecast.
away with it.
You got one result last time out. You got the Crystal Palace result, not the correct result, but you know the result at Doncaster, as I did. But I also got the Huddersfield draw against Reading and West Bromwich Albion beating your boys. I got them down 3-1, but it was actually 2-1. So I ran out
What did
3-1
I
win.
have?
You had 1-1.
Did I?
Yeah, you went for a draw. Which, I mean, it could have been a
Yeah,
draw. I mean, it's
I thought it'd be a
2-1,
tight
wasn't
game. That, to be
it?
honest.
Well, it was a tight game, wasn't it? But, you know, Albion ran out 2-1 winners, and I ran out the 3-1
Hell,
winner on that
Plymouth
day.
4, Millwall nil.
Incredible. I mean, again, managers, we've said that for. I mean, all the podcasts that I do with Alan, we always talk about the importance of managers and them if only moments. And, you know, Plymouth, I mean, what a great job their gaffer's doing. But Derby County away to QPR, will they be with a new gaffer? It looks as though John Eustace might be leaving Blackburn and going to Derby County. So his first game in charge might be Friday night at Queen's Park Rangers. How do you see the game shaping up?
I'm going to go 1-0 Derby.
You're going to go 1-0 Derby. I'm going to go 2-1 to QPR. Fulham versus Forest. I'm going Fulham 1, Forest 2. How do you see it going to?
1-1.
1-1. Southampton versus Bournemouth. I'm guessing you're not going to go 1-1 on this game.
I'm going to go draw 1-1.
Really, blimey, okay. I've gone 3-0 to Bournemouth. I think when Bournemouth are on fire, they
They look a
do.
good team when
They
the
do, yeah.
last few games I've seen them. They look brilliant.
They've got pace, they've got energy, they do good out. Palace versus Everton is my shout. I'm going to go 1-1 here. I think that could be a draw, Palace and Everton. How do you see it going?
1-0 Palace.
1-0 Palace. Great draw in the fifth round of the FA Cup. Palace versus Millwall. If ever a game's going to kick off, that's the one, innit? I mean, God blimey. Wednesday versus Coventry. This is my shout. I'm going to go Sheffield Wednesday 2, Coventry 1. How do you see it going, T?
1-0 Wednesday.
1-0.
I think it'll be a tight game. This.
Yeah, 1-0 Wednesday. Barnsley versus Huddersfield. That's pretty much a Yorkshire derby, innit? How will that finish up?
1-1 for me.
1-1. I'm going to go 1-0 to Barnsley. And finally, I'm going to go Donny 2, Grimsby 1. How do you see that one finish?
Oh, Oh, that one.
Donny versus Grimsby.
Oh, Grimsby, Donny.
Mm.
That Grimsby is a weird team. I'm going to go 1-0, Donny.
1-0 Donny. Right, lovely. There we go, T. Thanks for your time. Love to you and yours. And we will talk to each other next week on the Terry Curran
Have a good
Football
weekend,
Podcast.
Gabby.
Lovely.
I hope you all have a great weekend. See you all next week.
Thank you. And thanks for listening, guys. See you, T. Catch you later, mate. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.